Ladies and gentlemen, Trump emails are released by House Oversight, and they don't reveal anything that hasn't already been communicated by President Trump. So he didn't trust the official numbers and total and tally last year, and so now there are recounts that have gone through state legislatures and been upheld by judges in Arizona, New Hampshire. Let's see, there's investigations in Georgia. There are other investigations in Michigan, elsewhere. And so I'll put the link. New documents show Trump repeatedly pressured DOJ to overturn, before inciting. Again, this is highly politicized House Committee on Oversight and Reform. And so these documents show President Trump tried to corrupt our nation's chief law enforcement agency in a brazen attempt. So the Washington Post asked the following question. A trope of preposterous emails raised the question, how can Republicans still be loyal to this man? Well, because Democrats are still loyal to President Obama. Let's take a trip down memory lane really quickly. So the articles will be below. The House Oversight link will be below. Obama used pseudonym in emails with Clinton. FBI documents reveal. We know why. Because he lied about his Secretary of State having a private server, completely allowing his Secretary of State to just transfer top secret intelligence. Almost certainly he knew. We know he used a pseudonym. I'm not sure if that's standard protocol for presidents to use a pseudonym. But if you don't think that is enough for Republicans to say, well, Democrats allow worse, so the Washington Post saying, how could you possibly stand with this man? I mean, his emails. He didn't trust our process, our pristine democratic process. Holder held in contempt. The House voted to hold Eric Holder in criminal contempt of Congress over his failure to turn over documents. The vote was 255 to 67, with 17 Democrats in support of a criminal contempt resolution. So this is the Attorney General held in criminal contempt by Congress. This is an article June 28, 2012. That's another reason, probably a lot more important in the eyes of observers, even though the email server issue scandal controversy is one of the greatest almost certainly one of the greatest stories of all time pertaining to how you can let your own Secretary of State have private networks and servers outside of the United States government and just be okay with it. So you have a House Committee on Oversight and Reform where you have emails saying that he was basically saying the same things that he tweeted. Very different from most politicians, especially Democratic politicians who have a public and private face. So, for example, our beloved President Biden said, I never met with my son's business associates. Oh, what are Hunter's emails read? Oh, yeah, he met with his son's business associates. That's right. But I will leave you below an example of just how bad journalism is. NBC News, this is 2017. Rice didn't and couldn't order the unmasking of any American, current and former officials say. I mean, what is unmasking? And honestly, did Susan Rice do anything wrong? President Obama's national security advisor requested the identities of Trump aides to be revealed to officials after those names turned up in surveillance. I mean, it was complete accident. NBC News. This was April 4th, 2017. And in fact, there's no evidence of that. Senior. Rice didn't and couldn't order the unmasking of any American. And then, later that year, Susan Rice explains why she unmasked Trump officials. It's like, yeah, she could order the unmasking, and she did. And not only did she, a number of other people did as well. Okay, Susan Rice, President Obama's national security advisor, has finally come clean in why she unmasked Trump officials, an act President Trump said he thinks is a crime. Rice met with the House Intelligence Committee last week. So that's a Newsweek article. But the issue is that Rice at the center of intelligence. It's like it's pretty unbelievable that you come in with, and then here's another one, the DOJ Steele dossier. There's Bruce Ohr, DOJ Bruce Ohr resigns from department amid disciplinary review. Ohr had been scrutinized for his ties to British Christopher Steele. We can go on forever. The entire, if you take the viewpoint and hit subscribe to this channel right now, hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. If you take the viewpoint that, his emails are an affront, an assault on democracy, how are you still loyal to the Democratic Party? Steele dossier here. Purchased. Clinton campaign DNC paid for research that led to Russia dossier. How can you still be loyal to the Democratic Party if you know the conflicts of interest that are apparent if the Clinton campaign and the DNC paid for research that led to the Russia dossier? So Democrats love to talk about, they absolutely love to infuse their sensibilities within every story. And the question here is, you have a former Attorney General Democrat held in criminal contempt of Congress. You have a former Department of Justice official from President Obama's administration linked to the Steele dossier that was purchased by Clinton and the DNC. You have unmasking of Trump officials for no other reason than to find some way to undermine President Trump. And you have President Obama, who utilized a pseudonym, and we don't have those emails, by the way. Why don't we? President Barack Obama used a pseudonym in email communications with Hillary Clinton, according to FBI records. The disclosure came, why would he use a pseudonym? Why would he use a pseudonym with his own Secretary of State? Why? Unless he feared that all that communication would be eventually obtained. Okay, this is a Politico article. There is zero investigative journalism when it comes to Democrats, and a really weak attempt at investigative journalism to try to uncover something about Trump. And usually it's, oh my God, did you see what he said? Did you see what he did? The emails, by the way, from the difference between Clinton's emails, Biden's emails, the DNC emails, and other emails or servers linked to Democrats is that their public face and their private face are completely different. Trump's public and private face are pretty much very similar. He's probably the most honest politician we've ever had. Democrats and media, oh my God, he lies all the time. Yeah, if you hold other Democratic politicians to the same standard you held Trump, like 25% of the alleged lies he told are actually true, according to CBS Market Watch. Of the 10,000 running, the running tally of lies, of the Washington Post, Pinocchios, and we rate this 2 or 3, 25% of it is actually true. But anyway, there was an article, why Clinton needs to be two-faced, in 2016, when they found out that what she was saying to bankers in speeches was very different to what she was telling the American people. But again, the House Oversight releases Trump's emails. They're not different from anything he said publicly, and now you have recounts everywhere. I'm going to leave you Eric Holder being held in criminal contempt by Congress, the 17 Democrats. I'm going to leave you an ABC News article about Bruce Ohr being linked to the Steele dossier that Democrats purchased, according to the Washington Post. And you can then answer the question, so the question is, a trove of preposterous emails raises the question, how could Republicans still be loyal to this man? Because Democrats are still loyal to all the to the cast of characters that undermined democracy when they were in power. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe.